have next on our list is our honorary guest speaker. His name is Dr. Jason McGhee. All right. He has more accomplishments on the side of his name than he do my age. I ain't gonna tell you my age, but we can go on forever. He's more like he was a principal for a school. He was more like a life coach for high school students, elementary students. He put himself out there to support the young and those who looked up to him. He made sure he exercised the word respect, and he got respect. All right. So there's so much more I can say, but I want Jason to come up here and give himself a little introduction of all his accomplishments and why he came out to. Actually, Jason just gave me a call, and he said, "You know what, Jackie?" He said, "I would like to speak at your school." I said, "Oh, for real? Like, you in Michigan, you know what I mean?" He said, "I got you." And he was like, "I really want to speak to your students because, I mean, he if you follow him on, is it Facebook or Instagram? He has the word of the day. He's so motivating that I just thought that this just all came in full circle. Okay, so without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Jason McGhee.
I'll use the microphone too.
All right.
Good afternoon, early evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I'm so excited to be here. Like Miss Jackie said, I came all the way from Michigan. I wanted to be here because one is hot. I need some of that heat. It's not cold in Michigan. But compared to here, it's cold because it's hot. I said, is this jacket going to be okay? We'll see. Listen, I'm excited for several reasons, right? The first reason I'm excited is because about a year ago, we celebrated the first year of Genevive Training Center, right? That's a big accomplishment, right? It's a big deal, right? The second reason I'm super excited is because this is the biggest class that the organization has had, right? So that's a big deal. 20 graduates?
That's right.
20. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. And the third reason I'm excited because when I walked in here, I said, oh my gosh, everybody in here looks like me. Everybody in here looks like me. And that makes me excited. Y'all look at me like, what are you talking about? No, everybody in here looks like me. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. But my name is Dr. Jason McGhee, and yes, I love what I do. I love what I do. But I have to explain to you what it is that I do because I just took a step back from being a high school principal. I walked into my superintendent's office and I said, with my resignation papers in my hand, and I said, hey, listen, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to leave. And she pleaded with me and said, no, I want you to stay. I was a high school principal of a pretty large district. It's 15,000 students. My high school was phenomenal. We just did a multi-million-dollar renovation in the oldest building in the state of Michigan. That's a school. We put $46 million into this building, and I oversaw this transition from this old school, which I think had ghosts in the building, to this new school with new lights, and it's a whole different school. And I turned around and said I had to leave. Now, it was the hardest thing I had to do because I told you I love what I do as a principal. I'm a leader. So I love people. And I love watching people grow from one space to another. So I walked away. But before I became a principal, I started out as a teacher. I was an art teacher. And I loved art because I felt like I could teach anything in art. But I also could have taught math or science or engineering. So when I went to school, I majored in engineering at first, and then art came along, and I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I chose teaching. I didn't want to because I went to school in Detroit, y'all. And when I was in elementary school, I knew what happened. I knew how we got down in school and how teachers were treated and looked at and how the community, they had respect for teachers, but that slowly started to dwindle. What are you complaining about? You have summers off. They didn't respect the profession. So I was like, why would I go into this? But I made the decision to do it. And it was the best decision I ever made. It was a hard one. So I did this for years, right? I taught in schools. I was teacher of the year my first year teaching. I was, thank you. I wasn't expecting that. But I was teacher of the year my first year teaching. And when I got the award at a meeting just like this. It was a board meeting. It was, oh, Jason McGhee is teacher of the year. And then later in the meeting, it was like, oh, here are all the people we have to lay off. Jason McGhee. I was one of 3 people that got laid off the same year I was teacher of the year. Right? So I stuck with it. So I taught. I became a success coach for kids. I wrote some curriculum. I became an assistant principal. I had this journey that I went on. And what's special about today is that you all have been a part of a journey. And now this is a significant milestone. This is a significant moment. And I'm super excited about it because you're graduating from it.
Thank
You're graduating from it. And I know it wasn't easy. I'm looking across the front of the room. I'm looking across the back of the room because, believe you me, a lot of y'all probably didn't get to this golden road without the people behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There was a lot. Come on. I know this because y'all look just like me. Y'all had some choices, y'all had some decisions, and y'all had some sacrifices you had to make to get here. So this is significant. I don't care what anybody else says, what they think, feel, or believe. This is significant. There were some things that happened that you probably didn't think that you were going to make it today. But you did. Right? We all have those stories. So this is super, super significant. I think that as an educator, and I look at education, and I look at healthcare, they're very similar. They're very similar. Right? You have, so as a principal, we had our support staff. The support staff were the people in the building who really kept the building running, kept things moving smooth. Without the support staff, we didn't have a structure in the school. I think in hospitals, like CNAs are part of that support staff. Mm-hmm. Because these doctors, they can't do everything by themselves. The nurses, they can't do everything by themselves. They can't. These hospital managers, they can't do all this by themselves. Right? So you have your support staff. Then you have your teachers in education. You have your nurses in the healthcare. Then you have your teacher leaders, department leaders. Then you have your nursing leaders that kind of have leadership roles and they do what they do. Then you have your principals, like myself. Then you have your doctors. Then you have your, so there's a hierarchy. I'm saying it's similar. And when I say you look like me, I'm looking at you, and I'm saying you look like me because the look you have in your eyes right now is the same look I've had before. You look just like I looked before. Because I know what it's like to go on a journey. And I know that this is the beginning. This is the beginning for all of you. Yes. This is the beginning because I heard somebody want to be a surgeon already. You already making it claim. You already making it plain. You claiming it. You say, I'm going to do this surgery thing. Right? And this is the first step for the rest of your life. And I'm super excited to hear that because this is all a journey. All right? You are embarking upon some of the most important work that our country absolutely needs. We're talking about healthcare. Ms. Jackie talked about since COVID how the healthcare industry was almost turned upside down. I know it firsthand. My wife, she's in healthcare. So I saw it. And I was in education. So it was happening in the schools. It was happening in healthcare. And the first responders got all the love. You are first responders now. Amen. You are needed more than anybody else right now. Right? You have to believe that, understand that, write it on your wall. And this is, listen, I am needed because this is purpose work that you're getting ready to do. I don't care if it looks like a bedpan. You know how many little bitty 5-year-olds that I had to get down as an elementary principal and look at them in the face and they're crying and snot. Now, disclaimer, I think that I'm a fantastic principal. I love kids. But there's an age limit for me where it's real difficult for me. And once you get below 3rd grade, I struggle. So for me to get down like this to these little kindergartners, it's tough for me. And they're snotting and shaking my hand and hugging me. And I'm like, come on, man, I got on a bow tie. And you just put snot on my bow tie. I can't wear that again. It can be grungy work. But it's work that's needed. Why? Because the people that we serve are oftentimes at their most vulnerable point when they come into a healthcare facility. And the first person they might see after checking at the desk is you. And they don't know we don't know what's happening with them, what they're going through in their mind, their heart, and their soul. I tell you what, I get nervous going to the doctor. I'm 44 years old, and they tell me that when I get 45, I have to start looking at getting a colonoscopy. Uh-oh. Listen. I'm not ready. I got a year. I'm not ready. But when I walk into that room, she's going to say, the office manager's going to say, hey, how you doing? Same insurance? Yes. All right, sit down, go ahead. And then they're going to call me into the room. And who knows? It's so cold in Michigan. I might be here, so it might be one of you. Jason McGhee? Come on back. You taking my height and my weight, and then maybe some small talk. I don't know if that's allowed, but I'm probably going to be super nervous, and you're going to be the first person that I'm going to interact with. And if you bring your attitude, your relationship, your situationship, you bring any of that stuff to the situation with me, I don't know, you might mess me up. Your interaction, your duty, your job responsibility, your purpose is so important that my life depends on it, especially next year. My life's going to depend on it. The work that you do is so important. It's going to allow me to either be able to be comfortable or be scared, and it's going to my experience is going to be dependent upon it. Your work is important. Your work is important. You are needed more than you know. And your goal. If you don't remember anything that I said today, because I'm going to say about 4 things. Be professional and be excellent in everything that you do. Be professional and be excellent in everything that you do. Be professional and be excellent in everything that you do.
Yes.
Don't forget that. We don't understand professionalism sometimes. And it starts everywhere. How you show up, on time or not. How you dress, what you look like, how you sound, what you say, what you don't say. How you respond. And I'm telling you, I don't care if you have a CNA license or not. Once you already have the robes on, so I'm already holding you accountable to be professional. And whatever industry you go in, whether it's in the hospital, into the what do you call those?
Nursing homes.
Yeah, the nursing homes, whatever. You are so important to the people you serve. You have to be on your A game 1,000% of the time. That's my charge to you. All right? You're the first line of defense. You set the tone for the relationships. And guess what? Yes, you take vital signs, but you have to transition and transform from taking vital signs to being vital. Vital to the organization. Vital to that nursing home. Vital to that healthcare. Vital to that doctor. Vital to that nurse. Because they need you. They need you. And next year, I'm going to need you. All right? I want, if you can, this is something else I want you to remember. Right? It's the number, 6,666. 6,666. Because this has already happened. How long was your program?
6 weeks.
Oh, why you say it like that?
Oh, I don't know.
6
Because
weeks.
you said 6, 6, 6, 6, 6.
6 weeks. That's what I said. You know, it took 6 weeks to get through this program. And you're done. Now what? I told you this was a journey. This is a mission. This is something that you're going through. So 6 weeks has happened, and now you're successful. The next 6, what are you doing for the next 6 weeks? 6 weeks, the next 6 weeks. Then I want you to focus on the next 6 months, and the next 6 years. If you leave here today and don't know what to do outside of your licensing, 6,666. What am I doing for the next 6 weeks? You might even go back and say, what do I need to do for the next 6 days? Then do 6 weeks. Then do 6 months. And then do 6 years. Some of you might need 66,666. You might need a couple of those 6 weeks stints.
Which is fine.
Which is fine. You run your own race. The Olympics just happened, and I'm telling you, you have to run your own race. Not necessarily to the person next to you, because you can get distracted by that. 6,666. So I told you guys about this journey that we're on, this progress that you're making, and you are on the same type of journey. You're going to be a surgeon. What are some other goals that are in the group here? Right? What's next outside of CNA?
Nurse practitioner.
Nurse practitioner.
I
Let's go.
decided to go for RN. I was going to do LPN, but Miss Jackie inspired me.
Mhm.
So I'm going to do RN.
Let's do that RN. All right. What else? What else? Physician assistant. They make bread.
Maybe I should do that.
They make bread. One more. A registered nurse. That's right. This is not the end goal. This is a milestone along a critical path. You got the paper. Now you have to put it into motion. And this is how you do it. 6,666. So, when I walked away from the school, I changed things up. I told my superintendent, I gotta take a step back. I'm taking a step back. But I'll do a sabbatical. So for 1 year, I'm going to write 2 books. I'm going to coach other leaders. And I'm going to operate as a professional life changer. I created my own title. A professional life changer. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here. What if I say something that sparks the next physician, the next surgeon, the next registered nurse? You start to figure out what that's going to look like for you in your terms. But trust the process and don't rush the process. Trust the process and don't rush the process. I became Dr. McGhee. I'm not a doctor that goes in and does surgery. I'm a doctor because I went to the highest in my field of education that you could go. I didn't think that I would ever be Dr. McGhee. I didn't think that I would be a teacher. I didn't think that I would go to college. But I did. I didn't think I would go get my master's. But I did. Then I went and got my doctorate degree. And it was hard. But I had choices. I made decisions. And I sacrificed my time with my wife, my kids. And guess what? It worked out because we supported each other. So you have a phenomenal community here that's behind you. And their energy's pushing you forward. They're pushing you forward. They're pushing you forward. Don't ever forget that, because you can go wherever you want to go. As long as you make the choice, you decide. You sacrifice. And then put the plan together. 6,666. Right? I appreciate every one of you. And I want you to understand that you are a CNA now. You are a CNA. And when it started, before you got here, it might have been CNA where it stands for you cannot accomplish anything. Somebody might have told you that. You can't accomplish anything. Right? Somebody probably said you could never amount to nothing. Anybody heard that before? Our teacher told me that you could never amount to nothing. CNA. We're not talking about that CNA. The CNA we're talking about, something like, I can now achieve as a CNA. I can now achieve. Because now I arrive, right? Watch this. If you're a church-going person, I'm covered and anointed. CNA. You gotta embrace CNA. Right? I want you to create new alliances going forward. And the last thing I want for you is just because you graduated, because you got the cap on, you want to have confidence and not arrogance. All right? You are a CNA. We need you. They need you. I need you. And I know we don't know each other, but we look alike, and I love you. And I wish you the best on your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.